Okay. Okay. Good evening, and we are live now on the Google Brain Project, the Global Brain Project Google Hangout. My name is Peter Liu, and David Russell is the founder of the Global Brain Project. So we have this Global Brain Project Hangout every week. Usually it's on Friday, but we had some technical issues on Friday, but we've solved them, and it's Sunday, July 6th. And so we do the Hangouts every week in connection with the meditations to go into questions that you might have and other issues relating to the Global Brain Project. So David Russell is our founder. Hi, David. How are you?
Hi, Peter. Have you posted a link?
Ah, yes. We must post the link. Thank you. Okay, let me post the link. Okay. Link is posted.
Okay. Hi, everybody. If you've just joined us, you've just missed Peter's introduction. I'm David Russell, and I'm going to talk tonight about spiritual subjects. We have questions, I believe, Peter.
Yes. Okay. So Lori Fuller, thank you very much for submitting some questions. She submitted two questions. The first was, how would you advise someone engaging in transcendental meditation how to focus their thoughts toward a purpose, i.e. harmony, while repeating a mantra?
Right, very easy with this. You don't need to focus anything. All you need to do is at the start of the meditation, you just need to have an intention. Intend the meditation to be for world peace. Intend it to be for harmony. Intend it to be for anything you want. And that will carry through the meditation, and it directs the meditation to have that effect. So it is just purely having the intention. Intention is one of the most important factors in life. You can do all sorts of good works, but if the intention behind them is not a good intention, they will not produce a good effect. So intention, always have the right intention, always have positive intentions, always aim for positivity. That's that question. Next question, Peter.
Okay. Um, could you explain the impact of collective brain in the context of this global meditation, where the numbers of positive vibrations versus negative vibrations intersect? In other words, what would be the impact if, while X actively participate in this meditation, Y conduct a counter meditation?
Right. Not hard, not difficult to answer this. Um, in quantum physics defines reality in a number of different ways. For example, it defines it as molecular, it defines it as subatomic particles, it defines it as energy fields and waveforms. And it is these last two that we actually deal with. Um, everything we do, everything we say, everything we think, everything generates energy, and that energy is woven into the tapestry of energy that everybody in the world contributes to, that underwrites the the tone, the mood, the direction in which the world is going. So we deal in energy. When we meditate, we produce very coherent, very cohesive forms of energy, and anyone who participates in any meditation produces the same forms of coherent energy. All the energy, coherent energy that is produced vibrates at the same frequency, more or less. There must be some variation because energy is produced from many different sources, but the energy produced must vibrate within certain parameters, and it resonates. It resonates with other energies and creates harmonies, and these harmonies have a cumulative effect on what happens in the world, what vibe is generated. Any meditation is going to produce coherent waveforms, and those coherent waveforms are going to overwhelm any waveforms that lack coherence, which is of course most other waveforms. Waveforms tend to be, well, you know, you look at life around you, you can see people functioning in a multitude of different ways, functioning in all sorts of ways, producing all sorts of vibes. Some people producing great, really nice vibes, some people producing violent, horrible vibes. All these vibes all contribute to the tapestry that encapsulates within it the world, and everything we can contribute to that energy makes a difference. The more coherent thought is a bit like darkness and light. For something to be dark, you need total darkness. But to break through that darkness, you only need to light one candle. One candle will break through that darkness, and the energy that we produce is exactly it was not exactly that. It's as powerful as that. The energy we produce overwhelms energy that is less coherent and neutralizes it, essentially. That is the value of what we're doing. We are actually out here zapping the negative energy. And you know, that's why it's all so important. It really is. Does that answer the question, Peter?
Yeah, it does. I think it says some very interesting things. I mean, the image that you just gave is just fantastic about, and it seems so very true about that the one candle is all that it takes to illuminate the darkness, no matter how much darkness there is. So that's a really beautiful image of how much power that we actually individually and collectively possess in changing the coherent vibrations of our world and the cosmos. I think that's very well put, David.
Thank you. Yes, I mean it is. That's why it's just so important what we're doing. Nobody realizes, or very few people realize, just how important what we're doing is. But for the first time in well, let's say recorded history, we actually have a movement that is consciously seeking to produce coherent, well, let's forget the coherence, actually seeking to produce good vibes. I mean, when has that happened before? You've had lots of religions ostensibly concerned to produce good vibes, but not actually doing much about it. Unfortunately, religions are not a great way to produce anything much. I mean, if you need religion, you obviously are spiritually bankrupt, because religions are designed to reconnect you with spirituality. I mean, I maintain, and have always maintained, that religion is the last refuge of the spiritually bankrupt. But better than nothing. Not much better, I have to say. On the whole, spirituality is something that is totally individual, totally encapsulated within the individual, and is just sitting there waiting to be discovered, to be awakened. Spirituality is right there, just waiting to be awakened. And the way you awaken it, guess what, is through meditation. Well, in fact, I say through meditation. For many, many years, I smoked cannabis. And long, long ago, I was sitting on the ghats at Varanasi in India. And I was sitting with a sadhu who had been to Cambridge, very well educated, spoke perfect English. And we were sharing a chillum. And I was very young, you know. And I said to him, tell me, this seems like an obvious question, but why do sadhus smoke ganja? And he looked at me like I was mentally deficient and said, because it opens the doors of the temple. And that is very true. Ganja, cannabis, is about increased consciousness. So smoking cannabis, that will have an effect on your overall level of consciousness as well. Meditation and smoking cannabis, wow. Very, very beneficial. Trust me, I speak from experience. I mean, I have only just stopped smoking cannabis, and I only stopped because of medical reasons. But, wow, cannabis opens doors that don't get opened. Well, they do get opened eventually, but it opens doors a long way in advance of when they would open if you were just meditating. So, far be it from me to recommend drugs to people, but I would like to recommend cannabis to everybody because it actually works. It really does work. It is to do with nothing more than increased consciousness. You know, here's an interesting fact. Cannabis is the only plant that grows in every temperate zone on the globe. And also, this is also very interesting, it is the only plant that has the only plant that has easily distinguishable male and female forms. Now, it's the female form that one smokes or one uses as a drug plant. You know, I kind of feel it's got to be here for a reason. And the reason is nature left it for us so we'd have some way to connect to spirituality if we ever lost the natural connection. But of course, in fact, the opposite is actually happening. We are rediscovering in a big way the natural connection with our spirituality. You can see it happening all around you. I mean, it is a tremendous wave of energy that is carrying us all forwards. And it is only a matter of time until that wave of energy has an effect on the world. I just can't wait, and I'm sure you can't either. So, anything else, Peter? Anything else I should talk about?
Well, I just wanted to add that for those who haven't visited the Global Brain Project website, there's a big section that David has written relating to cannabis and everything that he's referred to right now, so you could look further into that there. I think the other interesting thing that came to mind is over here in the United States, there's now the beginning of a kind of momentum of legalizing marijuana for medical purposes. And it's just, for instance, I live in New York State, and it just recently was passed for legalization for medical marijuana. So there's basically going on here in the States an avalanche that's happening for legalizing it, and it's long overdue to recognize its medicinal properties. But I think if you put that together with the growth, massive growth of the people involved in various aspects of consciousness and meditation, I think we have something very powerful that is spreading very quickly
Right.
here in the States, and I think globally as well.
And it's all feeding off each other. I mean, the spiritual energy that we're generating has produced this relaxation in attitudes towards marijuana. It's all part of an overall increase in levels of consciousness. You can see the consciousness increasing throughout the world. It's just not increasing fast enough. But it will do. I mean, it is increasing all the time, and life is a progressive experience. Life in the world and the progress of the world, they're progressive experiences, and there is a lot yet to unfold in what is going to happen globally. We are only at the start of this spiritual revolution. Stick with it. Watch it grow. It's going to get big. It's getting big now. And in the final analysis, as I say on the website, we are the world. We are the neurons that make up this world. This is our world. It's not their world. This world belongs to us. We're living in it. And there are a hell of a lot more of us than there are of them. So, enough of us think the right thoughts, do the right actions, have the right attitudes, act with the right intentions. That's bound to have an effect. It's bound to have an effect because, on the whole, none of those things apply in the way people deal with life in the world. We have almost a monopoly on right action, right attitudes, and that gives us a tremendous strength. Anything else?
No, I actually sort of coming off of Laurie's first question about having a positive sort of mind frame and intention in one meditation, and then let's say, for instance, somebody who has not experienced meditation before, and they're saying like, well, how about all the negativity in the world, and how does that manifest in my life if some people are meditating, but I have disbelief, or there are people with negative thoughts. How does that, in my personal life, how would that, have a role in my life?
It has a role insofar as it's all part and parcel of the flow of karma. Karma seems very random, and indeed it possibly is random, but the one thing it has is it has rhythm, perhaps. It has a flow, and it flows continually. The negative vibes that are in the world have an influence on the world generally, but not necessarily on you. It is your personal karma that has an effect on you, and only your personal karma or the karma of your partner which, if you have a partner, that becomes a part of your karma as well. But in general terms, negativity in the world, that's just, I mean, you can see it all around us in the way people are fighting and killing each other, people are starving, people are dissatisfied with their lives, their lifestyles. People are generally just not happy, and that is reflected in a general global malaise that is one of dissatisfaction, of wanting more. Until we resolve that dissatisfaction, we're not going to get anywhere, and the only way to resolve it is to get things happening in the right way in countries where the dissatisfaction is generated. We can't actually do that personally because we're not there. All we can do is make the contribution we're making, that is by providing a coherence and a wave of good vibes that we hope will have an influence. And it's more than hope, because it must have an influence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Good.
Very good. I had a question for you, David, and this is actually very, it's kind of specific in terms of geography. Do you know of, do you have friends in Nigeria?
I have Facebook friends in Nigeria.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because actually what came up for me was I was talking to a friend of mine who does, she's a civil rights attorney, and she does work in Nigeria relating to conflict resolutions. And we had actually talked about the possibility of a collaboration between the work that she does and the Global Brain Project, and possibly setting up some sort of way that you know, the work that we're doing could have a particular focus for folks in Nigeria, maybe expand the meditation practices there. And I have some other connections to Nigeria, you know, particularly people who are practicing meditation. So that could be something for us to work on.
Yes, absolutely. I'm up for that. Anything that's going to increase the number of people meditating. I mean, meditation can only produce positive effects, it seems to me. So the more people that do it, the better.
Yeah.
The more people that do it, the happier people are going to be. The more self-satisfied, satisfied people are going to be. The better vibes they are generally going to contribute to the world. Yeah, I'm up for anything that anybody can suggest.
Yeah.
Up for grabs is too strong a phrase, but it's close.
Yeah. And actually a question related to that for the audience. You know, we talked about reaching a certain threshold of numbers in which that would gain a registration with the Global Consciousness Project, which measures changes and shifts in global consciousness. And so we had talked about a number of, like, the square root of 1. Is that correct?
1%.
And is that
square root of 1.1%, in fact.
1.1. So 0.1. So is that meaning for a particular area, or is that for the globe?
That's for the globe. For the
Okay.
globe.
Yeah. Yeah. So if there were people, for instance, in a particular zone, let's taking Nigeria for an example, and there was within that area a certain number of people participating, would that have a specific effect in that geography, or is it, in other words, if there's more people in a geography focused in that way, does that affect the geography more especially?
Yes, quite simply, yes, it does. The more people meditating in a particular area, the bigger the effect it has on that area. I mean, you know, we generate these vibes, and they start off with us very powerful, but as they move away from us, they grow less and less powerful. So the biggest effect is close to where it's happening.
Right. Okay. Good. And I think at some point we'll maybe maybe you've already done it, to do a kind of mapping of like everybody that participates in our meditations, and see where throughout the globe we are connecting up via the Global Brain Project. That would be kind of a fascinating image to see. And so I think that might be it for tonight. I don't know. Do you have
Yes.
anything, David?
No, I think I've absolutely talked myself out.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic, and I really appreciate everything you've given us tonight, David. And thank you very much to Laurie Fuller for very intelligent questions.
Yes, thank you, Laurie.
And
Great
we're going to take a quick look to see if anybody submitted new questions for tonight. And it doesn't look like it. But however, you can submit your questions at any point. We'll post the new invite event page later this week, and definitely please do submit questions, and we'll answer them during the next broadcast, which is next Friday at 11:45 UK time, 6:45 US Eastern Daylight Time. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Hope you had a good time. See you next week.
Okay.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Peter.
Thank you, David. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.